Very good. Okay, so today we're in Likutei Moharan Torah Yud Ot Vav. We were in the middle of Ot Vav, in the middle of part 6 of this Torah. And we're gonna start again. Now after Hanukkah, we had a little bit of a break, so now we're gonna start again Ot Vav in Likutei Moharan Yud. Okay, so here we're just finishing Hanukkah, and this Torah is going to speak about Purim. So it's preparing us already for the next Chag. But it's a lesson here in this Torah that really applies to every day of the year. It applies to everything. I learned so many times how the Baal Shem Tov and his Talmidim used to use the advice that Rabbi Nachman speaks about here in this Torah all the time to sweeten judgment. And Rabbi Nachman's principle here is that that through clapping your hands, through simcha, the point is that through simcha, and simcha, it's not just simcha that you have a moment, an instant of joy or happiness in your heart. It's a happiness that a person needs to grow that happiness and needs to have that happiness grow to a point where it's expressed and felt and spread throughout the whole body of the person. And Rabbi Nachman says when a person does that properly, so then the simcha will reach the hands and the feet. And when the simcha reaches the hands, then a person starts clapping. When the simcha reaches his feet, then a person will start dancing. And so when that happens, so this light that is drawn from the heart, this ruach, it's a ruach, it's a holy ruach, it's a ruach HaKodesh that Rabbi Nachman says is drawn from the tzaddik. And that ruach is the opposite of gaiva. Rabbi Nachman explained at the beginning of this Torah, he said that on the one hand you have gaiva, you have the pride, you have the ego, and the tzaddik is the opposite. It's the anava. It's all about being nothing, nothingness. Nothingness is all about being included in and integrated in Hashem's infinite perfection, in the eternal, and that's the absolute breaking down of any boundaries. When a person is limited and bound in the limitations of the physical world, that's where the ego comes in. And a person feels like he needs to fight in order to achieve. He needs to do all these physical kochi ve'otzem yadi in order to accomplish. But when a person shifts to the state of the tzaddik, the state of bitul, the state of anava, so a person is integrated and included in Hashem's eternal perfection. And that breaking of the limitations, that breaking of the boundaries, it's not just breaking the boundaries, it's beyond that. It's recognizing that there are no boundaries from that state of consciousness. Then a person merits simcha. That's where the simcha, the ruach HaKodesh in the heart, is drawn from. And now a person needs to grow that ruach HaKodesh. He needs to not just have it as a spark, he needs to make it grow and spread throughout the whole body. And when it reaches the hands and the feet and he claps his hands and he dances from that simcha, that sweetens all of the judgment. Okay, so that's mamish, a real summary, a real kitzur of what he was saying up until now. So now let's start Ot Vav. Let's see what he says here. This is the aspect of dancing and clapping your hands. Because the dancing and clapping your hands is drawn from the spirit, the energy in a person's heart, as we can see. It's observable. This the tikkunim, the tikkun Azor says is this ruach, this ruach blows in the 6 parts, the 6 sections of a person's arms and the 6 sections of a person's legs, right? And the Zohar is teaching us how in the hand we have 3 parts. There's the hand, and then there's this arm, this part of the arm, and then we have here until the shoulder. That's 3, and then in the legs also you have 3 parts. So that's 6 and 6, and from the heart brings life into these 6 aspects of the hand and the 6 aspects of the feet. Okay, this is what it says by in the pasuk, where his heart, by Yaakov Avinu, where his heart carried his feet from the joy that he had in his heart. So this what does that mean, that his heart carried his feet? When there's this spirit of joy, of happiness, of being light, that comes from the heart, and then the feet naturally feel that and are acting in a different way. And you can tell right away the difference between someone who has this spirit of joy, the spirit of Ruach HaKodesh that is spread into the hands and the feet, and someone that doesn't. So the hands and the feet are kaved, they're heavy and they're sluggish. And that's where laziness comes from. Where on the other hand, when a person is light, kal kanesher, that comes from the spirit of joy and happiness. Through this aspect of the tzaddik, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, he dissolves the gaiva, the pride, the ego, as it says, David HaMelech says, do not let the foot of gaiva, of pride, come against me. So we see that there is an aspect of gaiva, of pride, being expressed in the feet. From the fact that David HaMelech says, do not let the foot of gaiva, of pride, come against me, we see there's an aspect of pride, of gaiva, being expressed in the foot, and therefore there's the opposite is also true. The Ruach HaKodesh can also be expressed in the feet. So that gaiva is this aspect of idol worship, of atheism, of lack of emunah, right? Rabbi Nachman always explains how emunah is synonymous with Ruach HaKodesh. Emunah is synonymous with anava, and avodat gilulim, avodat kuchavim, the idol worship, and the wrong belief systems, the belief systems of the klipa, of the tuma, is synonymous with gaiva. Okay? And the avodah zara, the idol worship, is removed, it's dissolved. And this aspect is expressed in the pasuk of V'rachatzu raglechem. We see when the malachim came to Avram Avinu, he tells them to wash their feet from the avodah zara that's on their feet. And so we see this aspect of avodah zara in the feet. We see the gaiva in the feet, and we see avodah zara in the feet. And purifying the feet from both of these is done through the Ruach HaKodesh that is drawn into the feet. Okay? ורחצו רגליכם זה עבודת אלילים, וכשנתעלה הרגלין על ידי הריקודים בחינת נשא ליבו את רגליו, ונתבטל הגאיבה, היינו עבודה זרה, על ידי זה נמתקים הדינים. And so when you remove this avodah zara, when you remove the gaiva from your feet, you're sweetening the judgment. Because man, why is that? Because all judgment, Rabbi Nachman is going to explain to us now, all the dinim, the judgment energy, the difficult energy, the tzimtzum, the energy of being limited, the contraction and the constriction, all of that energy is coming from the avodah zara. That's where it comes from. That's the source of it in the world, is avodah zara. And that's where also anger comes from. Anger and frustration and depression, all is that suffering that a person experiences. It's when a person experiences resistance in their life. And all of that energy of resistance, of suffering, and all that negativity starts from avodah zara. But because that's when a person is facing the limitations of the physical aspects of the universe. But when a person is experiencing the unlimited, the eternal, the infinite, right? So then that's the source for all happiness, where the source of all patience comes from, the source of dat, the source of aruchut apayim comes from. Okay? וכשנתעלה הרגלין על ידי הריקודים בחינת נשא ליבו את רגליו ונתבטל הגאווה, היינו עבודה זרה, על ידי זה נמתקים הדינים, כי כל זמן שיש עבודה זרה בעולם, חרון אף בעולם. The Sifri, which is one of the Midrashim, tells us that as when there is avodah zara in the world, there is charun af in the world. As much as there is avodah zara, as long as there's avodah zara in the world, there is this anger. It seems like Hashem is angry. Hashem's characteristics of anger, so to speak. It seems like Hashem is being revealed to us through this anger, way of this screen, where Hashem is showing himself through the anger, and it seems like Hashem is angry. But all of that is only because of the avodah zara in the world. And when the avodah zara is removed and dissolved, so the charun af, the anger, this anger is removed, that energy of judgment is removed and dissolved, and instead we have this chesed that is drawn. So just like Rabbi Nachman before showed us the different psukim, places in the Torah where we see gaiva and avodah zarah expressed in the feet, in the legs, now he's going to start showing us the opposite, also show to in the psukim. So here, now, when you remove the gaiva, when you remove the avodah zarah from the feet, and you draw the ruach hakodesh, the simcha into the feet, you have this aspect of chesed that is sweetening the judgment, and the chesed is expressed in the feet, and that's the aspect. It says in the pasuk in Navi and Shmuel, it says raglei chasidav, the feet of the pious. Okay, and so chasidav is also chesed. They're called pious because they have this light of chesed within them. Okay, we also see this aspect, how this chesed that's drawn into the feet is from the emunah, as we see about, it says about David, it says the kindness of David is faithful. So David is the aspect of emunah according to Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Nachman explains all the time how malchut is this aspect of the emunah, and David represents malchut. And the chesed, when it's drawn into David, into the malchut, is expressed in this pasuk, Chasdei David hane'emanim. Hane'emanim daika ki nitbatlu haminut ve'akfirot. Why is it emunah? Because the emunah is the opposite from that gaiva, the opposite of that avodah zarah that we saw before. So now we're speaking about, up until now, the feet. When you draw this ruach hakodesh into the feet, now we're going to go up a level to the hands. Okay, now we're speaking about clapping the hands. דופק זה בחינת רוח כמובן בתיקונים. The pasuk in Shir Hashirim says, the sound of my beloved is pulsating, like what you have in the hands. Okay, and the pulse of a person is the blood of a person that's being sent out to the whole body. From where? It's being sent out from the heart. And the Arizal explains in Eitz Chaim that there are 10 different types of blood in a person, and there are 10 different types of ruach in a person. And both of them are in the heart. So the heart is made up also of the nefesh, and it's also where you have the ruach of a person is also giving life to the heart. Okay, so the physical aspect of the heart is the blood of the heart, and then the ruach, which is drawn into the nefesh, is what pulses that blood. Because how else is the blood being sent to every part of the body, and a person feels a pulse? It's this ruach, it's the spiritual, the energy of spirit within the person, within the heart, that is it gets enveloped and enclosed in the 10 different types of blood, and it sends out these 10 types of blood through the 10 pulses, the 10 asara mine dofek, to every part of the body. Okay, so that's the blood, and the nefesh and the ruach is working together. The blood and the ruach is working together to send out this asara mine damim through the whole body. So, therefore, the pulse of a person comes from the ruach, and that's what Rabbi Nachman is bringing from this pasuk in Shir Hashirim, kol dodi dofek, that the voice of my beloved is pulsating. So the voice is always the aspect of ruach. Where does the voice come from? The voice of a person is the aspect of ruach, and that's what's causing this. The pulse throughout the body. That's what's causing the pulse. It's this ruach, it's the voice. As it says in the Tikkunim, Dodi shalach yado min hachor. Ze b'chinat itgalut he'arat hayadayim. Another pasuk that says in Shir Hashirim, my beloved put his hand through the hole. Okay, so what is that? That's alluding to, this pasuk is teaching us about the revelation of the hand. Okay, when Hashem puts his hand through the hole in the wall to show us that he's stretching out to reach for us, to bring us closer. Okay, so then that's the revelation of the aspect of the hand. Okay, that's the התגלות הארת הידיים, Rabbi Nachman calls it. היינו בחינת עמך עד כף, ואז נתבטל עבודה זרה, היינו הכפירות, וזה בחינת והיא ידע ואמונה. So how do you have a revelation of the light of Hashem in the aspect of hand? That's, as we said, when the Ruach HaKodesh is drawn from the heart, the Ruach HaKodesh is drawn from the heart all the way into the hands, then a person claps his hands, and that simcha, that joy that is drawn into hands, that causes the clapping of the hands, is the light of Hashem, the light of Emunah, which is drawn into the aspect of the hands. So we have the light of Hashem, the light of Emunah, the light of Ruach HaKodesh in the feet, and now in the hands, and that's removing the Avodah Zarah from the aspect of feet, and removing the Avodah Zarah from the aspect of hands. נמצא שעל ידי הצדיק, היינו בחינת רוח שבלב, נתגלה הארת הידיים והרגליים, היינו בחינת ריקודים ועמחת כף, ונתבטל הגאווה והכפירות, ונתרבה האמונה, ואז נתקיים רגלי עמדה במישור. So through the tzaddik, which is this aspect of the ruach in the heart, the tzaddik is the ruach HaKodesh in the heart, so the light of the hands and the feet, the light is drawn and revealed and expressed in the hands of the feet, right? Which is, where do we see that? We see that in the clapping of the hands and the dancing of the feet, where the joy is drawn into them, and that's the light of Hashem, the light of the tzaddik, the light of the emunah. And there's a dissolving and a removal of the ego and the avodah zarah. And then this pasuk in Tehillim, the pasuk says, "My foot stands in a straight, an even place." Okay, so now you're standing in a sturdy and even and a steady and a proper place. Shehu bechinat emunah. Where does that come from? That comes from the faith. That comes from the emunah and Ribbon Shalom. Okay, and that emunah is drawn into the feet. So now the feet stand properly. The person is stable. The person is standing in a strong way. The opposite is also true. The kfira, when a person has all of these corrupted belief systems, the belief systems of idol worship, of atheism and all that, the lack of emunah and the Ribbon Shalom, that is called in the pasuk natayu raglai, where the feet are bent out of the proper way. They're bent and removed from the proper way. As it says in the pasuk, also in Tehillim about Asaf, it says kimat natayu raglai. It says that my feet were almost bent out of shape, meaning out of the proper way, from the proper derech, from the proper path. And that pasuk in Tehillim is speaking about Asaf, and it's speaking about the fact that his heart brought him to this corrupted belief system, this lack of emunah in Hashem. That's what it's speaking about. Rabbi Nachman says, because it's speaking about in the context of his heart being turned to heresy. But on the other hand, when my feet are standing in a stable, even path, in a clear and focused way, that's the aspect of emunah. That's what it means when you have emunah in your feet. Okay. Now, Ot Zayin, says Rabbi Nachman, part 7 in Torah Yud, that Torah hi gam ken bechinat yadayim v'raglayim. In the Torah, we also have, so just like in a person, you have hands and feet, the Torah also has hands and feet. Okay? כי יש בהתורה נגלה ונסתר. נגלה הוא בחינת ידיים, כמו שכתוב, דודי שלח ידו מן החור. מן החור היינו חרוט על הלוחות, שהוא בנגלה, ונסתר הם בחינת רגליים, כמאמר רחמנו זיכרונם לברכה, חמוקי ירחייך, מה ירך בסתר. מה ירך בסתר. Okay, so the Torah also has the revealed part of the Torah and the hidden part of the Torah. The revealed part of the Torah is alluded to in the pasuk in Shir Hashem, that Hashem stretches out his hand through the hole, through the crevice. Okay, what is that alluding to? That's alluding to the fact that the luchot that Hashem gave us on Har Sinai, the luchot, the letters were engraved from one end to the other end, right? The letters were engraved from one end to the other end. Charut ala luchot, and that is the letters. That means that the letters of the Torah, the revealed Torah, the letters of the revealed Torah is an aspect of Hashem's light that is transcending the physical world. So the tablets themselves, they represent the heart of a person. The luchot themselves represent the luach halev, as the Gemara in Masechet Brachot says. The tablets represent the heart of a person, and the letters of the Aseret Dibrot, of the 10 Commandments, of the Torah that Hashem gave us on Har Sinai, that we're going through and through from one end to the other end, is the fact that Hashem giving us the Torah, He is transcending all of the physical. So now we are living in a physical world that took so many millions of different processes and levels of what's called tzimtzum, of hiding Hashem's light until this physical world is manifested. But there is a light that we have access to in this world that transcends all of that, and that's the light of the Torah. That's the light that's represented by the letters of the Aseret Dibra that go from one end to the other end, and that's represented. That's what's alluded to in the pasuk of in Shir Shirim, that the hand of Hashem is stretched out to us through the crevice. Okay, what is that? That's the letters on the luchot that are the letters of the Torah. But that's the aspect of the Torah shebichtav. It's the aspect of being revealed. Okay, it's not something that's hidden. It's something that's revealed and given to us in a revealed way. Okay, so that's the hands. That's the hands. The hands represent the light that is revealed, the part of the Torah that's revealed to us, that is given to us in a revealed way, and that's the Torah Tanigle. On the other hand, you also have the hidden part of the Torah. And the hidden part of the Torah is represented by the feet, because their feet is always the part that's hidden. As it says in Shir Shirim, another reference from Shir Shirim, where it says in the pasuk, Chamukei Yerichayich, the rounded thighs. Okay, and so the Gemara says about that, just like the thigh is hidden, so too the words of Torah are hidden. So the thighs are representing, the thighs that are hidden are representing the hidden part of the Torah, okay, which is also a more intimate connection to Hashem. So when a person is learning the secrets of the Torah, like what we're learning now in the Likutei Moharan, it's all the secrets of the Torah. This is the hidden part of the Torah. That's a more intimate connection with Hashem. It's not just an outstretched arm. It's something that is way more, tremendously more intimate. And that's the aspect of the thighs, which are hidden. So the Torah has hands, and the Torah also has feet. Has the revealed part of the Torah and the hidden part of the Torah. Torah, and the Torah in general, okay, the source of the Torah, where all of these different aspects are drawn from, is the heart of the Torah. And that's why the whole Torah begins with Bereshit, which is the letter Bet, and it ends with Le'enei Kol Yisrael, which is the last letter of the Torah. Is Lamed, is Lev. Okay, that's the heart of the Torah. שמתחלת בבית ומסיימת בלמד, ששם משכן הרוח, דנשית בשיט פרקין לדרועין ושיט פרקין לרגליים, היינו בנגלה ובנסתר. So the Torah itself, the heart of the Torah, the source of the Torah, that's where the Ruach HaKodesh is, which is drawn into the nigle of the Torah and the revealed part of the Torah, and is drawn into the nistar. A person can learn Kabbalah, but if he's learning it without the dveikut, without that connection to the Ribono Shalom, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, which is the emunah, as we saw earlier in the Torah, it's all about the emunah. That's what, like the Baal Shem Tov says on the pasuk in Bereshit. Ve'emin ba'Hashem. Says the Baal Shem Tov, the emunah is the dveikut, right? So it's all about that imagining that Hashem is here and Hashem's light is drawn into me and I'm connected to Hashem and I'm learning Hashem's Torah. When a person imagines that to a point where he actually feels it, what's called hakara v'hargasha, right? A felt recognition. That's the dveikut that a person is experiencing in the Torah. But where is that drawn? That's from the heart of the Torah. Okay, now we're just ending Chanukah, and Chanukah is all about the Or HaGanuz, the hidden light of in the Torah, right? So many people think that there's something called the Torah, and there's a light that Hashem created, the first light, the original light, the Or HaGanuz, and Hashem put it in the Torah. But that's a mistake. That's not accurate. In truth, the light of the Torah, the light called the Or HaGanuz, the infinite light, the light which is the revelation of all unity. Again, there's a whole tremendous class that we can give just on that. But that light, the Or HaGanuz, is the essence of the Torah. The essence of the Torah is that light. But the light of the Torah, the essence of the Torah, is hidden within the Torah. It's just like within a person. Within a person, the essence of the person is his shoresh neshama. That's who he is. That's who you are. That's the zehut. That's the identity of who I am. But the essence of who I am is hidden within me. In the same way, the essence of the Torah is this infinite light, but it's hidden within the Torah. And the more you study it, and the more that you connect to it, and the more you really completely contemplate and become absorb in depth every part of the Torah, you're connecting yourself more and more to this infinite light, to the soul of the Torah. Okay, so that's the lave of the Torah. That's in the heart of the Torah. And that heart spreads its light into the hands of the Torah, the nigla, the revealed part of the Torah, and into the nistar of the Torah. And this is the aspect of Mordechai ve'Esther ve'Haman, bechinot Purim, bechinat Gorah she'ipil Haman, bechinat Omer Seorim. I think that's our time for today. So tomorrow we're gonna begin from Chet, Od Chet, in this Torah, and we're gonna see how now this is all connected to Purim. So we're finishing Hanukkah and we're preparing ourselves already for Purim. Okay, let me just.
Thanks, Nachman.